Hey, Daniel from Redline here. Today we're going to be talking about some of my personal favorite Alfa Romeo cars. Let's not waste any time and jump straight into the first one, which, to my knowledge, not too many people really seem to know about. The Alfa Romeo 164 Pro car is one of the lesser talked about Alfa Romeos, which is a crime in my opinion. The reason? Well, I want to direct your attention to this thing. What does this have to do with the car I'm talking about? Well, they have the same engine. Yes, an Alfa Romeo car has a Formula One engine. Specifically, a 630 horsepower V10 that revs up to 13,500 RPM. You think that's dumb? Well, guess what's dumber? It was only ever a concept car. They never really made any, except one which did appear at the 2010 Goodwood Festival of Speed. Did I mention it also only weighed 1,600 pounds? This thing weighs less than most race cars do today. It had a top speed of 211 miles an hour and did a quarter mile in 9.7 seconds. That's faster than a lot of modern day supercars. And this was made in 1991. Then again, it also had a Formula One engine and weighed less than air itself, so yeah, maybe that's warranted. Now, do you want to see where the engine is? It's back here for some reason. Even though they have all the space in the front, I guess that's for the center of balance or something. Less of a favorite of mine, but still really cool. Got another quirky little race car, the Alfa Romeo 155 V6 DTM. I know, long name. But anyways, this is like the Pro Car's baby brother in terms of stupidity. It only revs to 12,000 RPM compared to the Pro Car's 13,000 RPM limit. It's heavier too, weighing around 1,000 kilograms compared to 750 kilograms of the weight the Pro Car has. So basically, the 155 V6 DTM weighs like 1,000 cheeseburgers and more than the Pro Car or something. It also was less horsepower, probably because it didn't have a Formula One engine. With this thing pushing out 420 horsepower, which is still highly respectable, but less so than the 164 Pro car. The car also has a really good sound, too. Although, like just about everything on God's beautiful green earth, it is inferior to the 164 Pro car. Here's a bit of a snippet of the audio. That's a nice sound in my opinion. Let's move on to the last one, which I'm actually making a double finale because I honestly couldn't decide. The last two cars I'll be talking about are the Alfa Romeo 33/2 Coupe Speciale and the Alfa Romeo Carrabbo. These are two wacky little concept cars from the 1960s. The 33/2 Coupe Speciale, which I'll just be referring to simply as the Speciale from now on because the name is too long for me to say again. The Speciale was a concept car from 1969, so it's pretty old for its time. Even though it's really old, it has aged beautifully for its 1960s design. Most cars from the 1960s age beautifully, but this one was something else for me. But go back 1 year, and you got the 1960 Alfa Romeo Carrabbo, which looks like a moldy piece of wedge cheese that I left in the sun since World War I. Even though it looks like diseased dairy, it, in my opinion, is one of the coolest concept cars from Alfa Romeo, simply because it looks like a wedge of cheese. And I like that. Going back to the Speciale, The thing has around a 5.5 second 0 to 60, while the Carabo has a 5 second flat 0 to 60, and both went 160 miles an hour for top speed. So we've discussed a few cars today. All of them are some awesome Italian beasts with some of the best Alfa Romeos I've ever heard of. Of course, we all have different taste in cars, but you cannot deny that these are some of the craziest Alfa Romeos thought of and made. This concludes this episode of Redline. I'm sorry for the long pause in videos. I've been completely stumped as for what to make, as well as learning how to do at-home editing. Keep living life at full throttle, and I'll see you in the next episode of Redline.